history tells you that famines, they call them nation breakers. Food is the strongest urge that we have as a human being. The one thing that everybody in your economic system is going to do is eat. Without producing your own food, it's like trying to fill up a bucket with a hole in the bucket. They paint this image as if the people on food stamps are lazy, they don't want to work. Like, you got single mothers with children that work every single day, and she's working, she's grinding, she's putting in the time, but she doesn't necessarily make enough. The grocery store has a certain margin that it needs to make.
Okay.
And a lot of the money that's made at these grocery stores comes from people who have food stamps, who have WIC, who have Link, if you're in Illinois. If they're no longer getting that money, they have to make it up somewhere. So if I'm a grocery store owner, I'm not just gonna go in the negative, I'm gonna raise prices because there's been such an abundance of food. But if food is scarce, we're gonna see that side of the human being, and that side is not pretty. You can go run down the history. There's a certain level of satisfaction that comes from growing something and then eating what you grow. And everybody needs to experience it. Brown is carbon, green is nitrogen.
Okay.
So you can begin to take all of the plants that are no longer growing and produce compost.
Okay. You name your chickens or nah?
Chicken leg, chicken thigh, chicken breast.
What'd you say? You said this one of the last things of the season?
Yep. Last harvest of the season. Except garlic. I just planted garlic, and that stays in the ground all the way up until the season. There's certain foods that we're not supposed to eat. If you're eating certain processed foods and they have chemicals in them, we can't think that if my mind is electricity and chemistry, that the chemistry that I've introduced into my body isn't impacting the way that I think. The main thing that brings a nation down is the destruction of the education system. So all of the things that we're seeing now, at the root of that is the destruction of the schools. We've been, robbed of our language, culture, religion, our God. We fought in every single major war that the United States has had, and we've been here. We worked. We built this country.
So what's the solution for us, for our people?
Do for self.
Do for self.
Do for self. You got to do all that you can to bring out what God put within you, and you got to mine it out. And that's what education is. There is no master in anything who is poor. Now, the reason for that is because when you master your discipline, there are always those who are willing to pay you for what you know. This is what gives us the ability to be free. If we stop thinking about the enemy all day and night, he would cease to exist.
Absolutely.
And if we focus on the betterment of ourselves, we'll get the betterment of our community.
Look! This is the Eye of the Trenches!
Man, we here at Torchlight Farms. I'm here with the Eye of the Trenches.
Yes, sir. This is part 3, right?
Part 3.
So if this is their first time watching, can you introduce yourself?
My name is Malik Nkatha. I'm your brother, member of the Unity Movement, urban farmer, interested in working to make our place a safe and decent place to live, whether that's safety-wise, food security-wise, education-wise. We need it all.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
So I want to start this off different. What made you smile like that today?
What made me smile like that? Man, I was roughhousing with my son. I finished working, came in, he said, "Dad, can we roughhouse?" And we roughhouse, man. And it's those little things that are needed. They create memories. But yeah, off the top of my head, that's the main thing.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So what I want to speak upon today, and what we're going to speak upon today, was watching the weather, the fall of America and the economy, plus the food crisis. What is the solution? How to grow to live, what to grow versus what not to grow, what season we are in, and how food relates to depression.
Oh, wow.
So
we going through okay, let's go.
Yes, sir. So how would you like to start it?
Anywhere. We can take this anywhere. Let it flow naturally.
Matter of fact, we could start off with the weather.
With the weather.
Yes, sir. Okay. So why should we watch the weather in this time period?
So we got to watch the weather because we have to approach it from a scriptural, spiritual standpoint, right? God got his hands on the weather. Yeah. So if we want to understand or get an idea of how God is moving, we have to keep our eyes on the weather, especially right now, because this is the tool, one of the tools that God uses. So one of the major things that's happening right now is, the hurricane in Jamaica. Prayers go out to our family, in Jamaica. And we can't think that the things we see afar off aren't coming abroad. We
100%.
can't think that just because something is happening in the Caribbean, or just because something is happening in South America, or just because something is happening in Africa, that the same thing can't happen here. We've had many different occasions where natural disasters, have hit the United States. So it's important that we get prepared. It's important that we're not oblivious and that we're paying attention and we understand what season of weather that we're in. If you're in a hot place, you understand that you have, droughts and that you have heat waves. If you're down south, you understand that you have hurricanes. So if you're over east or in the Midwest, we know that we have snow. So we can't be oblivious to the weather and not prepare ourselves for the times that we're going into. And here, to be honest, with the way the weather's hitting nowadays, it feels like we almost need to be prepared for anything.
100%.
Yeah, because anything could be coming our way.
So what's the first step to preparing yourself, you think?
The first step to preparedness is it always starts with the mind.
100%.
Always starts with the mind, getting the mind right. So understanding why it's important to prepare. When you look at everything in nature, everything prepares for the season. Even those that don't seem as if they're preparing. Like if you've heard the story of the ant and the grasshopper.
Absolutely.
Right? The ant goes and it forages and it stores up food so that it can survive the winter. But at the end of the winter, the grasshopper frees off and it dies. But the grasshopper has still laid eggs.
Wow.
So that it can procreate, so that you see grasshoppers again the next season. So in that is a principle, but underneath that, you see everything in nature is doing everything that it needs to do to ensure that it continues on and that it continues to procreate and live. So we as human beings, we have to do the same thing.
100%.
We have to do the same thing, and it starts with getting our mind right to make sure that when these disasters come in, that we're prepared. We have food stored up in our homes, right? We have access to clean drinking water. Two major. We have a place of shelter, extra heating.
100%.
When these things happen and when they come.
Yes, indeed. So you spoke on the mind, right? So you are a farmer. You growing, what is it? Organic food? How do you call it?
Organic, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Good word.
So we know food can cause depression, or it has like a relationship, right?
Right.
So can you break that down?
So the foods that we eat, especially if they're processed, they have chemicals in them. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan taught us that the mind is electricity and chemistry.
Yes,
These
sir.
are the things that fire off thought and get us thinking. So if you're eating certain processed foods and they have chemicals in them, we can't think that if my mind is electricity and chemistry, that the chemistry that I've introduced into my body isn't impacting the way that I think. So we've all felt it. There's certain foods that we eat and we get sleepy. There's certain foods that we eat and we get excited. There's certain foods that we could eat and it actually makes us anxious or we break out in hives or rashes. Our body responds to the things that we're eating. So there are certain foods that can cause depression if we continue to eat them, because we have this system in our body called the endocrine system that's responsible for making hormones and regulating hormones in the body. But if you're introducing these chemicals into the body consistently, the endocrine system is constantly trying to balance all of the hormones in the body. And until we stop introducing these foods into the body isn't able to balance itself.
100%.
So that's why we're taught to fast.
Yes, sir.
That fast. And I'd say that's the cure for being able to control that urge. And that's what we're taught. You should read How to Eat to Live by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That book right there will teach you what to eat, how to eat, what times to eat. And if you're struggling with weight gain or with depression, eating when you're depressed, that book will set you on the right path to get you where you want to be.
So how long has that book been around?
Since the teaching in the book has been around since 1930.
So almost 100 years.
Yeah, almost 100 years. Wow, yeah. Yeah.
So fasting has became new, like, as a trend now, would you say?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I say people should go to the source of that book. Wouldn't you say?
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. Because as people, begin to get introduced to a thing and they start getting certain ideas, they want to take a piece.
100%.
They want to take a, I like this part, so I'm gonna teach on this part. I like this part. Get the whole thing.
Nah, for sure.
You gotta get the whole thing, because if you get a part of it, you could be doing well in this area, but you're missing the whole picture.
100%.
So it's how to eat to live. There's certain foods that we're not supposed to eat. A lot of people eat nuts. The body's not made to eat nuts.
Wow.
We're not taught to eat any nuts, even though that's spread as a healthy food. But in How to Eat to Live, we're taught not to eat nuts, because of how hard it is on the digestive system. It's very hard on the digestive system. And it takes a certain animal that has a certain type of stomach to break down nuts.
Wow.
So in that book, you're going to learn how to fast. You're going to learn what foods to eat, what not foods to eat. And by the grace of Allah, you know, I've been striving. My good days, I have my bad days, but I've been striving to follow How to Eat to Live, you know, for the last 8 years since I've been registered. And it's done me well. It's done me well, done my family well, done those I know who follow it well. That's 100%.
And it'll do you well if you watch it.
Yeah. And it'll do you well.
So that being said, what should we grow to live?
Grow to live. So the main thing I would say, because if I give out specific things, everybody doesn't necessarily eat the same thing.
100%.
So I'd say start with growing what you eat.
Yeah.
Now, don't do pork. Don't do the pig. No pig, all right? But there's a certain level of satisfaction that comes from growing something and then eating what you grow. And everybody needs to experience that.
Wow.
So what makes you excited? You know, what makes you excited to grow? Is it peppers? Is it tomatoes? You like a salad? Is it lettuce? You know, grow that thing.
100%.
You know, in the right season. Learn when to plant it. You know, you don't want to plant a tomato plant in December. So learn the time to plant it and harvest it, cultivate it, and then eat it. But get that feeling.
Absolutely.
Get what that feeling is like. You know, this is something that human beings have been doing since the beginning. And a lot of us, because of, you know, we living in cities, we've never grown anything, we've never really felt that feeling. We've never really felt that feeling. And I remember how I felt when we were on the back porch on the west side of Chicago. I had two plants. I had a pepper plant and tomato plant. And we pulled the pepper plants, I chopped them up and brought them in the house and ate them. And that's what got me hooked.
Wow.
On agriculture. That's what got me hooked. This is one of my favorite parts of the end of the growing season. So when you're making compost, brown is carbon, green is nitrogen.
Okay.
So you can begin to take all of the plants that are no longer growing and produce compost.
Okay. Wow.
Right here in this pile, you can start producing compost. So I'm going to be making the compost real soon, and that's the same compost put out there to refresh the beds.
So it all like restores itself.
All recycles. All recycles, man. Yep.
Wow.
So yeah, nothing goes to waste. Nothing goes
100%.
away. Even the leaves, raking the leaves, bringing that in, putting that a part of the pile to make the compost.
Okay, so wow. You still got the chickens?
Yeah, they still here. They all roosting now though.
Oh, okay.
But you can hold on. All roosting.
You name your chickens or no?
Chicken leg, chicken thigh, chicken breast.
What you say? You said chicken leg?
Chicken leg, chicken thigh, chicken breast.
Fried chicken, baked chicken, grill.
Grilled chicken.
Yes, sir.
Fried chicken. No, we don't fry it. But.
Nah, I know. I'm just trolling. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
So these still edible to eat?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. We got a harvest we did this morning.
Oh, dang.
It's black soap. My wife pulled out a lot of them, but yeah, you harvest everything that's left.
Oh, wow.
Yep. We got a lot of green tomatoes. So we're gonna make fried green tomatoes out of the green tomatoes.
Oh.
You can let them ripen. Peppers. A lot of the red ones and the cherry tomatoes got picked out, but there's a whole lot more in that hoop house. And then we got carrots too. Well, a lot of carrots. Hold on. So when you harvest the carrots, because they're root crops, I'm gonna grab this pitchfork.
All right.
You gotta go down and fork them out.
Oh, yeah, this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Great work, though.
Come on. You gotta hit the gym anyway.
Yeah.
You gotta hit the gym anyway.
100%.
Like, why not make the farm my gym?
You say make the farm your gym?
Make the farm your gym. You know, build muscle, grow food, build endurance, all of that. So you get on the side of it.
Okay.
Like this, put the fork down, and fork it up.
Dang.
Fork it up. So here, we pull these up. See how these look. See, you got carrots.
Wow, those are all carrots.
All
Wow.
carrots. I rinse them off, wash them off,
Mm-hmm.
bring them in the house, cook them and eat them.
Okay. Dang. Hey, y'all just got that for the free 99. How to do that, y'all, man. Don't get better than that, you know?
Right. So when you stick the fork in, you got to be careful. You don't scrape them. You don't want to stab them.
Oh, okay. Like, what would that do?
You just, wouldn't be as edible.
Oh, okay.
Striking them with the fork, they're not going to last as long. As soon as they have a blemish or a cut or something like that, they're not going to last nearly as long.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You said this one of the last things of the season?
Yep. Last harvest of the season. Except garlic. I just planted garlic, and that stays in the ground all the way up until the summer.
Oh, wow.
Next year.
So you plant garlic during this time and then, okay.
Yep.
Learn something new every day, you hear me?
Every day. And it's seeing that, it's like, man, I can grow it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got to put in some work. Everything of value requires that you put in some work, but I can put in some work and I can reap the benefits from it.
100%.
So
I want to ask you this. So, we've been having a lot of success this summer by the grace of Allah, right?
praise be to Allah. Yeah.
So, what's the biggest lesson you learned in the success? Because you can learn from winning.
Yeah. Oh, the biggest lesson, and it's a lesson I'm going to just keep on learning, and it's the importance of staying humble.
Wow.
The importance of staying humble, man, in doing this work and working in the community and connecting with people. You never know who God is going to use to open up certain doors for you, or to, allow you to get somewhere that you wouldn't be able to get as an individual on your own.
100%.
And if we're boastful and we move about the earth in arrogance and we don't walk the earth in humility, God's going to close those doors. He's going to close those doors and close those opportunities. So it's like, yeah, we're winning, but humility, one, allows me particularly not to get too carried away, and it allows me to see the value in everybody.
100%.
In everybody, We're taught, when you hear a person talk, listen for God and what they're saying. We should be listening for God instead of listening for like a way to argue, and it's tough to do that if we're not humble.
That's a fact.
Yeah, it's
So,
tough to do that.
This is another point. We're in a country, right, that's not so humble, right?
Yeah.
Would you say?
I would say that.
Yes, sir.
Say
So,
that.
would you speak on the fall of America due to the food crisis, the economy, and so on, bro?
So, one, the fall of America's that if you read the Bible, that mystery Babylon that's in the book of Revelation, and it's spoken about. So, in America, nations don't fall all of a sudden. Like when we watch movies, it's like somebody wakes up in the morning, they hit their alarm clock, and they look up, and it's just everything's falling to pieces. But the nations fall gradually. Gradually, there's certain afflictions that are brought on the nation, and it starts to bring that nation down. Now, the main thing that brings a nation down is the destruction of the educational system.
Wow.
So all of the things that we're seeing now, at the root of that is the destruction of the schools.
Wow.
It's the destruction of the schools. When you don't have an educated population, when you don't have a population that feels as if they can fully manifest their God-given abilities through education. The root word of educate is educo, and the Latin meaning of it is to draw out what's within.
Wow.
That's what our education is supposed to be doing. So the way the system is made now to teach to a test, to require you to get the right answer, to make you afraid to make mistakes. How am I going to be everything that God made me to be if I'm afraid to make a mistake?
Wow.
How? But we're trained and we're drilled and we're grilled for years. Given a bad grade if you make a mistake. You don't make any mistakes on this test. So that right there is the main thing that needs to be rectified if America's going to be saved. That educational system. And America has to do justice by us as a people. Our people, we've been, robbed of our language, culture, religion, our God. We fought in every single major war that the United States has had, and we've been here. We worked, we built this country. But we haven't been, they haven't done justice by us. So for that reason, due to the law of justice that the universe is set up on, America has to fall.
Wow.
It has to fall.
So is that fall happening now?
It's happening now.
Yes,
It's
sir.
happening now. But like I said, it's a gradual fall.
Mhm.
So you see the destruction of the educational system. You see the destruction of the food system, right? Because nations are upheld by systems. There's systems, there's ways of doing things, and when you start to break down those systems and they don't fulfill what they're supposed to fulfill, you have to deal with the consequences that come with that.
Wow.
You know, and we're feeling that now. We're feeling that now. You know, a bad educational system. I mean, if you don't have good people, what do you have? What do you have?
Nothing.
You have nothing.
100%.
Nothing. You know, and if you don't have, and if the people don't feel as if this nation has their best interests at heart, why do I have to? There's no. I'm not going to be a patriot. You know, I'm not going to want to give my all for this nation if I don't feel like I can fully manifest my God-given abilities in the nation.
100%.
So that educational system, that's key. That's key, brother. That's
Yeah.
key right there. You know, and there's another book. You always come with the book recommendations.
Yes, sir.
Torchlight for America.
Say that again.
Torchlight for America.
Okay.
That's a book. You can get it at finalcall.com, and it talks about all of these different things that are going wrong in America. But not only that, but solutions. Because we got to deal with solutions
Absolutely.
at the same time. So
Facts. So what's the solution for us, for our people?
do for self.
Do for self.
Do for self. Oh, do for self as a consequence. So education-wise, me and my wife, we homeschool. We homeschool, and it's not like you know, they're at home doing whatever they want. No, it's a rigorous type of homeschooling that we do. You know, regular reading, regular writing, regular arithmetic, and putting a strong emphasis on the importance of education with our children, so that they understand that, you know, you got to do all that you can to bring out what God put within you, and you got to
100%.
mine it out, and that's what education is. And you see certain students, they have an affinity for certain things. There's something that stuck in my mind, man. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that there is no master in anything who is poor.
Whoa, break that down.
There is no master in anything who is poor. Now, the reason for that is because when you master your discipline, there are always those who are willing to pay you for what you know.
Wow. That just...
So when we approach education and learning, we should be approaching it from the standpoint of mastery. Like whatever I do, whatever you do, whatever will get you up in the morning and to be excited, master that. And approach it as if you have the ability to master it. And you will. And you don't have to worry about, am I going to be poor in doing this? Master it, and there are those who are going to pay you for what you know.
100%.
And now, the other thing is that he said was, we are born with the ability to master everything in creation. But all of us are created with certain inclinations. And whatever we incline to, we're more likely to master.
100%.
So you see it in the children. Certain children, they incline to music. You could just see it in them. Certain children incline to engineering. Certain children incline to mathematics, to writing, right? To literature, to history. You see all these different inclinations in children. But the way the education system's set up today is forget all of that. Forget what you incline to. You're all gonna walk through the exact same curriculum, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And what it does is it starts to erode the love of learning.
Wow.
From the child. It starts to erode the love of learning. You know, there are some children that are really just, they're amazing designers. And they can design fashion. We need all of these things. We need all these things, because right now the enemy designs our clothes.
Wow.
And we don't design our own clothes when we're perfectly capable of doing so. I remember in school there were certain guys that could design very well. They dressed very well, but it was almost like they were afraid to manifest their gifts, not only because of the stigma from their friends, but just the stigma or just around them in the school. There's nothing that they could actually use to manifest that gift.
Yeah.
You know, you see it now. You even see the desire now. How many people do you know have the desire to start a clothing brand?
A lot of people, but they don't even know where to start.
You don't even know where to start. But that's something that could have been started when they were young. They could have been put in the sewing machine young.
Wow.
So it's like we don't have to wait for our babies. When you see that inclination in them, and you see them moving in a certain direction, put them on that path.
100%.
Put them on that path. And when they're moving on that path, they'll stay motivated to learn. They can learn business, you know, no matter what skill set they're going into. They can learn business. Mathematics is a part of everything. You know, this whole universe is set up on mathematics. They're going to learn mathematics. They're going to learn reading because they want to read about what it is that they're mastering. But that's that key right there.
Yes, sir. So what's like the most vital things economically we could learn?
Land ownership. You know I'm going to say that.
Yeah. Did you say land ownership?
Land ownership. Land ownership. And here, and a reason why is because we're taught once we trust one another, because that trust has to be there.
Yeah.
We're to pool our resources together and go and buy land and be productive on the land. So when you're trying to set up an economic system, the one thing that everybody in your economic system is going to do is eat. They're going to eat, and they're going to eat every single day. So if you attempt to set up economics without producing your own food, it's like trying to fill up a bucket with a hole in the bucket.
Whoa.
How can your money circulate if there's something that you have to do every single day and you're not able to do it for yourself?
You're right on that.
If you can't do that thing for yourself, then in circulating, it will always go out. Not only that, every new child that is born, it widens the hole in the bucket.
Yeah.
If you can't produce your own food, it widens the hole in the bucket. So we got to plug that hole. One, land ownership, being productive on the land and producing our own food. And that allows us to automatically, the same thing that's working against us now begins to work for us, because when you're producing your own food, the dollar is circulating automatically.
Yes, sir.
Automatically. We already know you eating every day. Every day.
Yes, sir.
And every time we go to the grocery store, every time we go to a restaurant and we purchase, we know we're circulating that dollar. All the way around.
But it ain't our dollar circulating for real. Now.
It's in my pocket.
For sure.
Yeah, it's in my pocket.
Yes,
but I
sir.
get what you're saying.
No, I'm saying not like right now, as of right now, because we not growing our own.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So, you know, the food stamp crisis, and a lot of people are going wild about this, going berserk about it, right?
Yeah.
So, would you speak on that? Because somebody brought it to my attention that this is going to affect more than people that rely on food stamps. This is about to affect a lot of stores, because a lot of stores rely on us to bring our food stamps to them.
Yeah. And sheesh, man. It's going to affect everybody, whether you're on food stamps or not. And one, I want to get rid of the stigma that everybody that's on food stamps is, you know, they paint this image as if the people on food stamps are lazy, they don't want to work. Like, you got single mothers with children that work every single day, and she's working, she's grinding, she's putting in the time, but she doesn't necessarily make enough. And the food stamps supplement what she earns. You know, and she works hard. And she works hard. You know, you have people who are off to war and their spouse is at home. And they're a soldier in the military, and they don't make enough as a soldier in the military, so their spouse has food stamps.
Absolutely.
You know, so, and for those who feel as if, okay, well, it's not going to affect me, well, the grocery store has a certain margin that it needs to make.
Okay.
And a lot of the money that's made at these grocery stores comes from people who have food stamps, you know, who have WIC, who have Link, you know, if you're in Illinois. And if they're no longer getting that money, they have to make it up somewhere. So if I'm a grocery store owner, I'm not just going to go in the negative. I'm going to raise prices. I'm going to raise prices.
Absolutely.
And if you feel as if you're not in an area where, okay, I'm in a more well-to-do, more well-off area, people in my area don't necessarily use food stamps, a lot of people with food stamps travel to better grocery stores.
Wow.
To shop at those grocery stores and use what the government gave them at those grocery stores. So don't think that because you're in a well-off area, because you shop at Whole Foods, because you shop at these more upscale grocery stores, that this isn't going to affect you. Certain stores in more well-to-do areas could close down.
Yeah.
And you just won't have access to certain grocery stores. So this is going to affect everybody. Everybody. And we shouldn't feel as if I'm okay if someone else goes without. We shouldn't feel that way. Because that goes into the whole social side of things. Food is the strongest urge that we have as a human being. It's the strongest urge. And we haven't felt it because there's been such an abundance of food. But if food is scarce, we're going to see that side of the human being. And that side is not pretty. You can go run down the history. History tells you that famines, they call them nation breakers.
Wow.
That's what famines are called in history books. They're called nation breakers.
Wow.
Because a shortage of food, one missed meal, 2 missed meals, 3 missed meals. At a certain point, if this person can't control their diet, they don't practice fasting, they're going to get erratic. They're going to get upset. They're going to start doing certain things to make sure that they don't miss meal number 4.
100%. Can you break down how our people have been dealing with that for years?
Oh yeah, man, shoot. You know, our people open up the refrigerator, nothing in the refrigerator, put 2 slices of bread together. You know, butter sandwiches. You know, figuring out ways to make it work. So we know how to deal with struggle. Yeah. We know how to deal with struggle. And we're going to make it through.
100%.
How can I say that? We've made it through worse.
100%.
We made it through worse. You open up the history books, there'll be points that's where the whole genre of food cuisine comes from. Soul food. Wow. Comes from us making do with what was left over, with what we had. Not only did we survive, we made a whole cuisine around it. Now I know people say, okay, you know, it's not the healthiest, but man, we made do with what we had. Yeah. So we made do then, and we will make do today.
Yes, sir. So you don't think people should be scared of this time?
I wouldn't say scared, because fear restricts. Yes, sir. Fear restricts movement. So if you're afraid and you need to get something done, you're not gonna get it done just out of fear. 100%. So I wouldn't say be afraid, but be alert. Be alert. Be attentive, and man, get to know the people around you. Get to know the people around you, because it's gonna take unity. It's gonna take a collective to get us through, you know, what we're getting ready to go into. Absolutely. You know, if these things come to pass. So I wouldn't say be scared. I say be alert.
Yes, sir. Be alert. So you know, like the season of growing is over, correct, or coming to an end?
Coming to an end. So yeah, you see these beds. I pretty much harvested, you know, everything out of the beds. I put more compost down to refresh the beds. So I like to get the compost ready for next season at the end of the season. Okay. Because when the new season starts, I want to just be able to get into it. So I got some more cleanup to do. Last harvest of tomatoes, last harvest of beets. I got beets there. I just planted garlic in the back, but yeah, for the most part, yeah, it's done.
Oh, wow. So like, what do you do in this time? Like,
so in the past, what you would do is, in October is when you'd have like a big harvest, like you get everything out of the ground, right? Yeah. And then you begin preserving the food. So this is how you get into canning. You get in nowadays we got freeze drying. So freeze drying and storing up your food for the winter. So throughout the summer you grow as much as you can, and then you preserve it, and then your preserves is what you would eat in the winter. Wow. Okay. That's what you would eat in the winter, and that's how you would survive the winter. And that's the purpose of canned food. So this goes back to survival. The money that you have, don't buy perishable items. Don't buy perishable items. Begin creating a pantry of food, canned goods that are gonna last you for years. Even if the canned good has the expiration date on it, and it's past the expiration date on it, it's the expiration date is for selling purposes. You can, as long as you can open it up and the smell and the odor isn't bad to you, like, it's still edible. Okay. It's still edible. So you can create a pantry for yourself. Absolutely. Where you start to build up canned goods. So if a moment like this happens where you're not able to get to the grocery store due to, you know, the assistance not coming, you have a pantry of goods available where you can go and you can get green beans, you can get corn, you can get different types of beans, and these different things are stored up. And that's what people would do. And they would build out pantries and they'd have pantries in their home, or they have storage cellars,
Absolutely.
you know, in their basement where they could go down and get something canned and have that for dinner.
So what would be the best, like, cost-friendly options of canned foods you would suggest people to put in their pantry?
Rice and beans.
Rice and beans?
Rice and beans.
You say you can't go wrong with it?
You can't go wrong with rice and beans. You can't go wrong with rice and beans, especially the navy bean, because the navy bean has some protein in it. It has pretty much everything that you would need to be able to survive in an event where you're not able to get to the grocery store. It has most of the things that you need. And then rice is great. You have to be careful with how you cook it because it can spike your blood sugar. So we're taught to brown our rice, and that's where you put it in a pan and you just bake it on like 350 to actually bake off the starch, and you do that for about 20 or 30 minutes. And then when you take it out, you rinse it, and you like to see all the starch come off the rice. You like to see it come off the rice, and that way when you eat it, it won't spike your blood sugar the way that it would. But those two things, they store well. They store well. If you have beans, you can get a big old bag, 50-pound bag of navy beans, or a 40-pound bag of rice, and you can store that in a cool, dry place. You don't want to let it get wet, but you can store that there, and that's something that you can have for you and your family in a day at one.
Absolutely.
You know?
So, you know, the main questions I have came to an end, right? So what's some things you want to speak on specifically that are dear to you and personal to you?
Dear and personal? I'd say, man, take the time in this winter, in this season, for self-improvement.
Absolutely.
And self-development. And if you sit back and just sit with yourself for a little while, we all know what we need to work on. You know, we don't have to go online and look at another YouTube video to get ideas of what we want to work on. Like, we personally know what we need to work on. And that thing that comes to mind when you think about bettering yourself, that first thing that comes to mind, do that.
Absolutely.
Do that and start taking those steps to do that. And at a certain point when you start moving, if you can find an opportunity to find like-minded people, because if you can find like-minded people that are moving on the same frequency that you're moving on, you'll move a whole lot faster.
Wow.
You move a whole lot faster. Somebody that is looking out for your well-being, you know, willing to hold you accountable, but in a loving way. You know, accountable in a loving way, because they just genuinely want to see you win. That's like, that right there is life-changing. But it starts with deciding personally that you want to be better and working towards that, and then God will send you individuals. You'll find each other because you're thinking on the same frequency. You find each other and you connect, and you can grow from there. But that's the main thing, self-improvement. Self-improvement.
So what made that come to the mind first?
That's the basis of it all. That's the basis of it all. And that's the one thing, I wouldn't say the one thing, there's many things, but that's a big thing that the enemy doesn't want us to focus on.
Absolutely.
See, if I focus all my energy and my attention on you, and I think that you're the source of all my problems, and if you just went away or if you just did better, I'd be in a better condition, you're dependent upon the enemy to make a better way for you or for me. I'm waiting on the enemy to make a better way for me, and the enemy's not going to do that.
Absolutely.
So the minister said, if we stop thinking about the enemy all day and night, he would cease to exist. So we giving him our energy instead of focusing on self-improvement and doing better ourselves.
Absolutely.
And if we focus on the betterment of ourselves, we'll get the betterment of our community. And we'll force, you know, Satan, enemy, away from our community and what he's doing. So that's what made it come to mind.
Wow, you broke that down beautifully, bro.
Praise be to Allah.
And I feel like that kind of answered every question about why we need to learn this right here, right now.
Yeah, this is what gives us the ability to be free as a people. All systems of government that you look at depend upon the ownership of land.
100%.
You gotta have the ownership of land, and you have to be productive on the land. Have to be productive on the land. And when you can feed, clothe, and shelter yourself, and you're doing it in a righteous manner, God's on your side, nothing can stop you.
Yes, indeed. So where can they find you at if they want to learn more, be more educated, and start this process?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram, Malik_Nkatha. The other thing I would recommend is to connect with organizations that are set up to grow, that are set up to teach you how to grow, I should say. Because every farm isn't necessarily set up to take on apprentices or take on interns. Like, they may be in production season, they really got to go all the way in. They may not have the time to slow down and teach. But the Urban Growers Collective, if you're in the Chicagoland area, I recommend it. Growing Home is another one. Highly recommend. Look it up. They have classes that you can go in, volunteer, and begin to learn and just get involved in the community as a whole. And as long as you come with the spirit to learn, be okay with making mistakes, show up, you'll learn it. This right here, this isn't anything that any human being does not have the ability to do. God gives everything in nature the ability to feed itself. Everything. So it's either whether you've been taught how to do it or you haven't. So you have the ability to learn it if this is something that you want to do. 100%.
You say 100%.
100%.
Yes, sir.
100%. If he'll teach a worm how to get his food, and teach a bird how to get his food, and a raccoon how to get his food, he'll teach you how to get your food.
100%. You ain't loud on that. So these are my last two questions. What's something you would say to yourself if you're having a bad moment, and then what's something you would say to yourself if you're having a good moment?
Something to say to myself if I'm having a bad moment. If I'm having a bad moment, it's a deep one. If I'm having a bad moment, I know it's because of the way I'm thinking.
Absolutely.
It's 100% due to the thoughts that I'm thinking. So when I'm in a bad moment, I first figure out, why am I having this bad thought? And when I realize I'm having this bad thought, I replace that thought with a better thought.
100%.
And then you think on that better thought, and that begins to raise the mood and the thinking. Because being in a bad mood, unless it inspires you to action to solve that problem, is really no help. It's really no help. So the goal is to get into a different attitude or way of thinking. And then once you're in that different attitude or way of thinking, then I can begin to move forward to solve my problem. Now, if I'm in a great mood and I'm feeling good, I'm continuing to think on the thought. Because it's like, I want to maintain this. I want to stay here. You know, or I want to, if somebody else is in a bad mood and they're around, like, you know, I can share a word with you to help you feel how I'm feeling.
100%.
So when I'm in a good mood, it's like I want to keep it consistent. Stay right there, let the energy flow, share it, you know, with the family, with people that I run into, and just keep that energy rolling. And don't let anything derail it. You know, that's the goal. Don't let anything derail it. If I get a negative interaction, continue thinking a good thought.
Absolutely.
You know, think that good thought.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, family. I just want to add that because, you know, people are going through a lot in these times and through the world, and I just want to give them some inspiration, you know?
Yeah. And the main thing is, it's in God's hands. It's in God's hands.
100%.
You know? And he loves us.
Absolutely.
He loves us, you know, as a people. He knows what we've been through. He knows we've been through a lot. He knows, you know, what has been poured and dumped on us. The fact that we're still here is proof that God loves us. Because any other people going through what we've gone through would not be here. The fact that we're still here is proof that God loves us. He's got us.
Absolutely.
He's got us.
Yes, sir. So who you shooting with, family?
With the Eye of the Trenches.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Big unity, family.
Big unity. Appreciate you, brother. Always a pleasure. Hood to hood, block to block. Let's get this work.
Let's do it.
Look! This is the Eye of the Trenches!